Before we jump into the video, there are a few things I need to clarify. I will not be discussing current events in the region, nor will I be touching on any political matters. This video will remain free of politics. My aim is simply to cover a specific topic for educational purposes. With that said, I also want to clarify that this video should not be taken as the definitive source of information. I may be incorrect in some areas, as many special units, both within and outside the Israeli Defense Forces, have limited or no available information. Feel free to correct me in the comments if needed. Additionally, most of the units we will be discussing have Hebrew or Arabic names, and I apologize in advance if I mispronounce any of them. Now let's get into the video.
No. Ukraine? Yes. South Africa? Yes. Soviet Union? Yes. The United Kingdom? Abstain. The United States? Yes. Uruguay? Yes. Venezuela? Yes. Yemen? No. Yugoslavia? Abstain.
Following the 1947 UN partition plan, which divided the British Mandate of Palestine, tensions escalated between Jews and Arabs. The Arab residents rejected the plan, leading to civil unrest as they opposed the displacement of a large number of Arabs. In response, the Jewish defense organization Haganah sought to secure the territories allocated to the Jewish state in the partition plan, as well as Jewish settlements located in areas assigned to the Arab state. On May 14, 1948, the State of Israel officially declared its independence. The very next day, the armies of neighboring Arab states invaded, marking the start of the First Arab-Israeli War. Israel's newly formed military, the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, was thrust into immediate combat. After intense fighting, subsequent armistice agreements were signed, solidifying Israeli control over 77% of the former British Mandate territory. Before the establishment of the State of Israel, several Jewish defense organizations operated to protect its people. Among them were the Haganah and its elite force, the Palmach, which were accountable to the Jewish leadership. Other groups, like Lehi, Lohame Herut Israel, or Fighters for the Freedom of Israel, and the Irgun, IZL, or National Military Organization, operated independently. On May 28, 1948, the Provisional Government of Israel issued Defense Army of Israel Ordinance No. 4, signed by Prime Minister David Ben-Gurion. This ordinance officially established the IDF, comprising land forces, a navy, and an air force. The ordinance was published on May 31, 1948, marking the formation of the IDF as the nation's sole legal military force. The IDF was primarily formed from personnel who had served in the Haganah and Palmach. A significant source of manpower also came from European immigrants, including Holocaust survivors and veterans of World War II. Today, the IDF consists of three branches: the ground forces, the air force, and the navy, all reporting to a unified general staff. From the moment of its creation, the IDF has been involved in continuous conflict, including major wars such as the 1948 Arab-Israeli War and the 1982 Lebanon War, among others. At the time of making this video, Israel is currently engaged in a war with Hamas and Hezbollah. During the 1950s, Israel faced a series of conventional and terrorist attacks from neighboring Arab states. In response, the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, established Unit 30 in 1951 to carry out retaliatory operations. However, the unit struggled due to a lack of well-trained officers and ultimately performed poorly, leading to its disbandment in 1952. From the remnants of Unit 30, the controversial Unit 101 emerged, comprising former Unit 30 members and paratroopers also known as Tzanhanim. This unit reported directly to the Israeli General Staff. Like Unit 30, Unit 101 engaged in retaliatory and infiltration missions against Arab positions. However, it was disbanded in 1954 following the Chibia massacre, a reprisal operation against the Arab Legion that resulted in the deaths of 67 Arab civilians in the village of Chibia. Despite these setbacks, the idea of a special forces unit under the General Staff persisted, prompting the IDF to quickly seek a replacement for Unit 101. In 1957, inspired by the organization and structure of the British Special Air Service, SAS, former Palmach member Avraham Arnon formed Unit 504. Better known as Sayeret Matkal, this unit was designed to consist of Israel's most intellectually and physically capable soldiers, marking the beginning of a new era of special operations within the IDF. This video will delve into Israel's special forces, focusing exclusively on active, publicly known units and not discussing those that have been disbanded. While there is no official tier system within the IDF, we can categorize the special units based on available information. The categories include specialized units within combat brigades, commando units, special forces, and the top-tier units known as the Elite Four. To understand IDF special operations, we must explore the different types of units within this realm. There are various types of units, but we will focus on three key categories that conduct special operations. Sayeret. This term means reconnaissance and refers to units specializing in reconnaissance operations. Shayatet. This translates to maritime reconnaissance or maritime sayeret, generally denoting units that are part of the Navy. Mista'arvim. This is the plural form of the Hebrew word mista'arev, derived from the Arabic mustarib, meaning he who has become Arab. This term signifies units specifically trained to operate undercover among Arab populations and conduct missions within Arab societies. Now let's look at special units that are in the ground forces of the IDF. The primary fighting force in the IDF is the Infantry Corps, which includes several regular and reserve units and brigades operationally commanded by the IDF's regional commands. Within the Infantry Corps, there are 5 active traditional infantry brigades. 1st Infantry Brigade, known as the Golani Brigade. 35th Paratroopers Brigade, referred to as the Tzanhanim Brigade. 84th Infantry Brigade, commonly called the Givati Brigade. 900th Infantry Brigade, known as the Kafir Brigade. 933rd Infantry Brigade, referred to as the Nahal Brigade. Each brigade features a specialized reconnaissance battalion known as Gadsar, which includes Gadsar Golani of the Golani Brigade, Gadsar Tzanhanim of the Tzanhanim Brigade, Gadsar Givati of the Givati Brigade, Gadsar Nahal of the Nahal Brigade. Each Gadsar is composed of 3 specialized companies, all of which possess expertise in navigation and counter-terror operations. Their areas of specialization include demolitions and combat engineering, reconnaissance, and anti-tank missiles. Gadsar units receive specialized training and are highly effective, although some Gadsar units may focus on specific aspects more than others. The Kafir Brigade does not have its own Gadsar battalion, but features a specialized battalion called Haruv, which serves a similar function. While these units are not traditionally classified as special forces or Sayeret, they are regarded as highly effective specialized units. A more accurate term for them would be infantry reconnaissance units. Earlier, I mentioned that the IDF has 5 infantry brigades. However, that's not entirely true. There is a 6th brigade, the 89th Commando Brigade, also known as the Oz Brigade. The Oz Brigade is a Special Operations Forces brigade of the Israel Defense Forces IDF, established in December 2015. This brigade, often referred to as the Commando Brigade, consists solely of infantry special operations units that were removed from their previous chain of command to form a new tactical formation. It operates under the 98th Division, the airborne division of the IDF. The 35th Paratroopers Brigade and other reserve paratrooper brigades also come under the 98th Division. The creation of the Commando Brigade was initiated by Lieutenant General Gadi Eisenkot and was based on lessons learned during Operation Protective Edge in 2014 and the Second Lebanon War in 2006. According to the 98th Division commander, this brigade integrates elite teams from the Infantry Corps under one command and aims to lead operational and tactical thinking, establishing a new doctrine for warfare. The goal is to give special operations units a center of gravity that was previously missing. The concept of the Commando Brigade was developed during the planning of the IDF's 5-year military strategy under Chief of Staff Gadi Eisenkot. The brigade draws comparisons to the U.S. Army's 75th Ranger Regiment, underscoring its role in Israel's Special Operations Forces. While the formation of the Oz Brigade is relatively recent, it is composed of well-established Special Forces units. These units are Agaz Unit, Maglan Unit, and Duv Devan Unit. Agaz Unit, officially known as Unit 621, Agaz is an elite commando unit specializing in anti-guerrilla warfare, special reconnaissance, and direct action. The current Agaz unit was formed in January 1995 from members of the Paratroopers Reconnaissance Unit as part of the Golani Brigade. It was named after the original Agaz Reconnaissance Unit, which operated under Northern Command until 1974. On December 24, 2015, Agaz officially separated from the Golani Brigade, and 3 days later, it became part of the newly formed Oz Brigade. Agaz is known for its expertise in fighting in complex terrains, fieldcraft, camouflage, and close-quarters warfare. The unit can operate in any sector, with a focus on northern Israel. It also features a unique weapons division, tasked with finding creative technological solutions to battlefield challenges and providing protection against new enemy tactics. Maglan Unit, Unit 212, Maglan, or Sayeret Maglan, is a reconnaissance unit of the IDF, formed in 1986. Specializing in operating behind enemy lines using advanced technologies, Maglan is part of the Commando Brigade. Its members undergo basic training with the Paratroopers Brigade before moving on to their own specialized boot camp and advanced training. While they train alongside paratroopers, they are not officially part of the Paratrooper Brigade. Maglan's operations remain highly classified and very little is known about its missions. The unit is known for conducting high-risk, top-secret operations deep within enemy territory, with many of its activities never declassified. Maglan reports directly to the IDF's General Staff rather than a regional command. Duvdevan Unit, Unit 217, commonly known as Duvdevan, is a Mista Arvim unit within the Commando Brigade. Established in June 1986, Duvdevan is an elite unit specializing in counterterrorism and covert operations. Its members often operate undercover among Arab populations, disguising themselves in civilian clothing. Duvdevan is also renowned for its expertise in both human and mechanical counter-surveillance. The unit has been involved in numerous high-risk operations, including targeted assassinations and other classified missions in Arab regions. Since joining the Commando Brigade, Duvdevan has expanded its operations to adapt to the evolving methods and dynamic nature of the brigade. In addition to these Special Forces units, the Oz Brigade also consists of the Commando School Oz, an aerial medical unit, a logistic battalion, and a signal company. These additional components provide crucial support and training to ensure the brigade's readiness and operational effectiveness in complex missions. Now that we've explored the units of the Commando Brigade, let's look at the Special Forces units that are not part of the Commando Brigade. Unit 888, the multidimensional unit, designated as Unit 888, also known as the Refame or Ghost Unit, is a special operations commando force operating under the IDF's ground forces. Formed in 2019 by IDF Chief of Staff Aviv Kochavi, the unit is designed to be highly versatile, integrating various combat disciplines, including infantry, engineering, anti-tank warfare, aerial operations, and intelligence gathering. It also serves as a testing ground for new military innovations, with the aim of adapting successful strategies for broader IDF use. To join Unit 888, candidates undergo both physical and mental evaluations before beginning their training. Given the unit's innovative and adaptive role within the IDF, soldiers are assessed for creativity and problem-solving abilities, alongside standard Special Forces selection criteria. The unit's rigorous combat training lasts between 14 and 16 months and includes intense physical and mental challenges, which only a portion of the recruits manage to complete. Those who do successfully finish may receive further specialized training in specific areas of warfare. Oketz Unit. The Oketz Unit is an independent K-9 Special Forces Sayeret unit of the Israel Defense Forces. Originally founded in 1939 as part of the Haganah, the unit was dismantled in 1954, only to be re-established in 1974 by Yossi Labach, its first commander. The unit specializes in missions that involve specially trained dogs, including counterterrorism, search and rescue, and other specific operations. Each dog is trained for a unique specialty, such as attack, search and rescue, locating weapons, or detecting explosives. Oketz operates in all regions of Israel, and its operators are often attached to other units when their specific skills are required, like extracting terrorists from fortified positions. Although Oketz is not officially affiliated with the IDF Paratroopers Brigade, its operators wear the distinctive red berets of the paratroopers. The unit's graduation ceremony is even held at the paratroopers' headquarters. However, to join Oketz, a recruit must choose the Kfir Infantry Brigade on their request form and pass the unit's rigorous trials. Yahalom Unit. Yahalom is the Special Forces unit of the Israeli Combat Engineering Corps and serves as the spearhead of the corps. The unit is specialized in handling unique engineering tasks, such as locating and destroying terror tunnels, demolitions, sabotage, and countering enemy explosives. Yahalom's responsibilities include conducting special sabotage missions, demolishing buildings, sabotaging enemy infrastructure, handling explosive devices, clearing complex minefields, and preparing bombs. The unit often uses advanced robotics and remote-controlled devices to minimize risks to human operators. Much of Yahalom's work remains classified, and public accounts of its activities often credit a generic combat engineering force, blurring the distinction between regular and special forces. It has been reported that Yahalom works closely with units like Sayeret Matkal and Shayatet 13, providing expertise in explosives and sabotage. However, this information is not officially confirmed, as the unit maintains strict secrecy to prevent enemies from developing countermeasures. To join Yahalom, candidates must first enlist with the Israeli Engineering Corps and excel during basic training. The top candidates are selected for the Gibush, a grueling 5-day physical and mental trial. The best performers are invited to join Yahalom, committing to an additional year of service beyond the mandatory 3 years. Yahalom's advanced training takes about 1.4 years and covers topics such as explosives, counterterrorism, and advanced combat. Alpinist Unit. The Alpinist Unit is a Special Forces Sayeret Mountain Infantry Reserve unit that falls under the 810th Heharim Regional Brigade, part of the 210th Division. This unit is tasked with operations in cold weather and mountainous terrain, making it a specialized force for commando-style raids, intelligence gathering, special reconnaissance, and irregular warfare. Their primary focus is securing Israel's strategic high-altitude areas, especially around Mount Hermon, which is often called the eyes of the country due to its strategic importance. The reservists in this unit are typically former members of active Special Forces units who receive additional specialized training for winter operations in the snowy and frigid conditions of mountainous terrain. Their mission includes defending against potential attacks or enemy activities originating from Syria or Lebanon, as well as tracking and reconnaissance in mountainous regions. Their expertise in operating in such harsh environments makes them a critical asset in safeguarding Israel's northern borders. LOTAR, or LOTAR. The LOTAR unit is a Special Forces Mista Arvim unit within the Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, that specializes in clandestine operations, counterterrorism, hostage rescue, irregular warfare, tactical intelligence gathering, covert operations, and sniping. Also known as Unit 707 or the Counter-Terror School, it was founded in 1974 by its first commander, Amos Kotzer, primarily in response to the Ma'alot massacre. LOTAR's main role is to train other IDF units in areas such as counterterrorism, anti-insurgency operations, hostage rescue, tactical intelligence collection, sniper techniques, and various short-range combat scenarios. The unit also covers areas like camouflage and irregular warfare tactics. While its primary function is training, LOTAR personnel are fully capable of conducting special operations if needed. These operations often focus on commando-style raids, covert missions, counterterrorism, and high-value target tracking. Although not officially confirmed, LOTAR is believed to be actively involved in the current conflict, carrying out special operations. It's important to distinguish LOTAR from LOTAR Eilat, a separate IDF unit that focuses on protecting the city, Eilat's residents and tourists from terrorism, and specializes in hostage rescue. Unlike the main LOTAR unit, LOTAR Eilat is composed of reservists. Balnam 444. Balnam 444 is a specialized mobility unit within the IDF, established in 2005. Its primary responsibility is to train IDF personnel in combat driving and mobility. As the operational driving school of the IDF, it includes several companies that train thousands of drivers serving across all sectors. Unit 5515, Unit 5515, a more specialized counterpart to Balnum 444, is a mobility special forces unit that collaborates closely with IDF special mission units. Comprised mainly of reserve soldiers from established special forces units, Unit 5515 works with various agencies, including the Mossad, Shin Bet, Israeli Police, Israel Border Police, Magav, and Israel Prison Service, Shabas. The unit is highly trained in complex operations in high-risk combat zones, using specialized vehicles and equipment. Due to the classified nature of its missions, Unit 5515's operations are rarely publicized. Some specialized units in the IDF are not traditional special forces, but they support special operations. These units play crucial roles in assisting frontline special forces, but there isn't much detailed information about some of them, so I could be mistaken. The 214th Artillery Brigade of the IDF's Artillery Corps has two notable specialized units. Unit 427, also known as Miatar, is a classified special reconnaissance unit, while Moran operates classified long-range missiles. Both units play key roles in their respective areas of expertise. Similarly, the 215th Brigade of the Artillery Corps has two specialized units, Units 5252 and 5353, both involved in operating unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, or drones. Unit 5353, also called the Skyrider Unit, provides critical support by offering UAV capabilities to infantry forces, including special forces and reconnaissance battalions. Skyrider teams serve as the eyes in the sky, helping ground forces move safely by providing real-time intelligence. They operate the Skylark UAV, which is one of the IDF's most effective tools. Because of the precise information they provide, Skyrider teams are involved in almost every major operation. The unit is open to those who enlist in the Artillery Corps, as well as to those who pass selection tests for other special units. Though the Skyrider unit is officially listed as a Special Forces unit on the IDF's website, I believe it is more accurately described as a Special Operations unit that supports Special Forces with UAV operations. Unit 636, also known as Nitsan, is part of the Combat Intelligence Collection Corps, which serves as the military intelligence arm of the IDF ground forces. This specialized unit focuses on intelligence gathering, target designation, and counterterrorism. Originally formed as a Special Field Intelligence Squadron, later evolving into a battalion, Unit 636 now operates as a specialized unit under the 877th Judea and Samaria Division. While it engages in tasks typically associated with special forces, verifying its status as a formal special forces unit is difficult due to the limited publicly available information. The Computer and IT Directorate of the IDF may also include a special electronic warfare unit that focuses on electronic warfare tactics and operations, but there isn't much information available on this unit. Now that we've covered the special operations units of the IDF's ground forces, let's look at the special units in other branches of the IDF. The Israeli Air Force also conducts its own special operations and has its own specialized units. One of these is Unit 5700, also known as the Forward Airfield Tactical Unit, or YAHAC in Hebrew. This unit is responsible for establishing and operating temporary forward landing bases for transport, reinforcements, logistics, and other military purposes. It was established on December 10, 1973, and its mission is to locate and manage airfields and airstrips that can be used by aircraft but are not part of the permanent Israeli Air Force bases. The unit also plays a role in securing Air Force installations. Its mission is similar to that of the United States Air Force Combat Control Team. Unit 5700 is part of the 7th Wing, which is the Special Operations Wing of the Israeli Air Force. The wing was created to address the Air Force's need for a dedicated special operations force capable of handling specific missions. It complements the Air Force's regular activities by carrying out special operations during both routine and emergency situations. The wing's main tasks include special reconnaissance, tactical air control, airfield assault zone establishment, combat search and rescue, and operating forward airstrips and airfields. Before the 7th Wing was established in July 2020, its units were part of different Air Force bases, and the Special Air Forces Command was in charge of their operations. However, with the creation of the wing, this command was disbanded, and the new wing was given direct control over Special Air Force operations, including training and mission planning. The 7th Wing currently consists of 3 operational units. Unit 5700 is one of these, while the other 2 are part of the premier Israeli Special Forces, known as the Elite Four. We'll dive into those units when we discuss the Elite Four in a bit. Apart from the other branches of the IDF, the Israeli Navy has only one Special Forces unit, which is part of the Elite Four, Israel's Tier 1 Special Forces. This will be the first unit of the Elite Four we'll look into. Shayetet 13, or S-13, is a naval special forces unit of the Israeli Navy and one of the primary reconnaissance units of the IDF. Shayetet 13 specializes in sea-to-land incursions, counterterrorism, sabotage, maritime intelligence gathering, hostage rescue at sea, and boarding operations. The unit is trained to operate across sea, air, and land, making it highly versatile. It has played a significant role in almost all of Israel's major conflicts, as well as many covert operations. The details of its missions and the identities of its operatives are kept highly classified, making Shayetet 13 one of the most secretive units in the Israeli military. The unit is regarded as one of the best special forces in the world, often compared to the US Navy SEALs and the UK's Special Boat Service. Unlike many other Israeli Special Forces units, which recruit soldiers for the standard 36-month service, Shayetet 13 volunteers must agree to serve for at least 4.5 years. Its training program, which lasts 20 months, is considered one of the most challenging in the IDF, involving a 5-stage process. The selection process for Shayetet 13 is intense. Twice a year, candidates with a perfect medical profile of 97 attend a selection camp. Over 4 days, they are put through a series of physically and mentally exhausting tests to gauge their psychological resilience and ability to operate under pressure. Only a few candidates pass this stage. After selection, recruits undergo 6 months of basic and advanced infantry training with the Nahal Brigade. This is followed by a 3-month preparation phase, which includes advanced infantry skills, weapons training, parachuting, basic maritime warfare tactics, small vessel operation, long swims, forced marches, and demolitions. The next phase is 4 weeks of advanced combat diving, where recruits learn to operate in challenging underwater environments, including in cold, dark, or cloudy waters, while mastering high-risk underwater survival techniques. The final and most demanding phase, known as the dedicated phase, lasts about a year and sees the highest dropout rate. This phase covers advanced diving with closed-circuit systems, underwater demolition, sea-to-land incursions, and operations involving ships, submarines, and parachuting into the sea. Recruits also undergo specialized sniper training, focusing on both long-range and short-range sniping. During this phase, soldiers are divided into specialized units based on their abilities and personal interests, where they train for their future roles. Shayetet 13 remains a key part of Israel's elite military forces, maintaining readiness for a wide range of challenging missions. Now let's return to the Israeli Air Force Special Forces units that are part of the Elite Four, which we skipped earlier. The first of these is Unit 669, also known as the Tactical Unit for Special Rescue. Founded in 1974, Unit 669 is a heliborne combat search and rescue unit under the 7th Wing of the Israeli Air Force. Initially created to rescue downed pilots behind enemy lines, its mission has since expanded to include the aerial rescue of soldiers and civilians, regardless of location or conditions. The unit also participates in searches for missing soldiers. The unit's symbol is the cat, which reflects its stealthy and agile nature. However, like a cat, it can be fierce when needed, especially in hostile environments. To be eligible for Unit 669, candidates must have a medical profile between 82 and 97. Candidates who pass the initial selection day for commando units undergo a grueling 5-day trial shared by Tier 1 units, Sayeret Matkal, Shaldag, and Unit 669. Those who pass are drafted into the unit. Unit 669 soldiers are highly trained in special forces tactics due to the possibility of engaging in combat to reach and extract casualties behind enemy lines. This makes them not just skilled medics, but also effective ground combatants. Their training and selection process lasts 18 months and is among the most demanding in the IDF, both physically and psychologically. Recruits must complete courses including basic training with the IDF paratroopers, special operations combat training, a special operations combat medic course with select soldiers advancing to a paramedics course, advanced land warfare covering jungle, desert, and urban warfare, counterterrorism training, scuba diving and rescue diving courses, rappelling and high-angle rescue, advanced helicopter tactics for infiltration and exfiltration, rescue under extreme conditions, parachuting, solo navigation exercises, and a commander's course. Unit 669 is often compared to the U.S. Air Force's pararescue units, PJs. As one of the IDF's elite units, its soldiers are always on high alert, ready to respond to complex rescue missions within minutes. Next is Unit 5101, commonly known as Shaldag or Kingfisher. This unit is part of the Israeli Air Force's 7th Special Air Forces Wing and is considered one of the most elite units in the IDF. Shaldag specializes in clandestine operations, combat search and rescue, commando-style raids, hostage rescue, irregular warfare, long-range penetration into enemy territory, military intelligence gathering, and special reconnaissance. Founded in 1974, in the wake of the Yom Kippur War, Shaldag was initially a reserve unit for Sayeret Matkal. Later, it became an independent unit under the Israeli Air Force's direct command. To be considered for Shaldag, candidates must also have a medical profile between 82 and 97. Like candidates for Unit 669, they must pass the 5-day selection trial for Tier 1 units. Shaldag's training program is the longest of any unit in the IDF, lasting 22 months. Navigation is a key focus, and recruits undergo numerous long, forced marches carrying heavy weights. The training is divided into several phases: 6 months of basic and advanced infantry training, parachuting training at the IDF's parachuting school, counterterrorism training at the IDF's counterterrorism school, navigation exercises in all terrains and weather conditions, air-to-ground coordination and airborne operations, intelligence gathering, communication, and reconnaissance, specialized training for medics, snipers, and other roles. A 2-week course on surviving enemy captivity, where recruits endure mock kidnappings, physical hardship, and interrogation. At the end of their training, Shaldag operators are given a book about David Stirling, the founder of the British SAS, and his unit's operations in North Africa during World War II. Recruits who complete the course are required to sign on for an additional 24 months of service beyond their mandatory 2 years and 8 months. Shaldag's insignia, created in 1987, features a kingfisher, wings, and the Star of David. The unit's name apparently originates from a saying of David Stirling, that his unit would come down on an enemy like a kingfisher comes down on its prey. Shaldag has carried out numerous operations, though most remain classified, preserving the secrecy that surrounds this elite unit. Now, the final Special Forces unit of the Elite Four we'll discuss is one of the most well-known and highly regarded in the world. But before diving into the details of that unit, it's important to first understand the structure of Israeli military intelligence within the IDF. Often abbreviated as Amman, Israeli military intelligence is the central and overarching body responsible for the intelligence operations of the Israel Defense Forces. Established in 1950, Amman oversees various intelligence branches, including the Air Intelligence Group of the Israeli Air Force, the Naval Intelligence Division of the Israeli Navy, the Combat Intelligence Collection Corps, which comes under the GOC Army Headquarters of the Israeli Ground Forces. Additionally, there is the Israeli Intelligence Corps, known as Haman, which operates independently but remains under Amman's jurisdiction since being separated from it after the Yom Kippur War. The Israeli Intelligence Corps, Haman, also has its own notable units. Unit 504, for example, specializes in human intelligence, covert operations, close quarters battle, CQB, and counterintelligence. This unit is critical for gathering intelligence through human sources and conducting sensitive, direct interaction operations, making it a vital player in Israel's intelligence apparatus. Unit 8200, also known as GADSM, focuses on signals intelligence, code decryption, cyber warfare, counterintelligence, and surveillance. As the central collection unit of the Intelligence Corps, it is recognized as one of the world's leading technical intelligence agencies, often compared to the U.S. National Security Agency, NSA. Although smaller, Unit 8200 rivals the NSA in its technological capabilities, establishing itself as a global leader in signals intelligence. While Unit 504 excels in human intelligence, Unit 8200 focuses on signal intelligence under the Israeli Intelligence Corps, Haman, which acts as the intelligence collection division under military intelligence, Amman. Amman also includes other divisions such as Research Department and the Special Operations Division. This Special Operations Division is responsible for highly classified operations. One unit under this division is Unit 81, a secretive technology unit that designs and provides advanced technologies to Israeli soldiers and spies. The origins of Unit 81 are unclear, but it is believed to have been in existence since the early days of Israel in 1948, with its operations remaining highly classified. Another notable special unit within the IDF is a highly secretive reconnaissance special forces unit that reports directly to the General Staff, the supreme command of the Israeli Defense Forces. Due to this direct reporting structure, it is known as the General Staff Reconnaissance Unit or the Special Reconnaissance Unit of the General Staff. In Hebrew, General Staff is abbreviated as Matkal, which is why this unit is commonly referred to as Sayeret Matkal. The General Staff Reconnaissance Unit, formerly known as Unit 269 or Unit 262 and more commonly referred to as Sayeret Matkal, is Israel's elite special reconnaissance unit, Sayeret, under the General Staff, Matkal. It is recognized as one of Israel's top-tier special forces units, part of the Elite Four, within the IDF, and is widely considered among the best special forces in the world. Contrary to popular belief, Sayeret Matkal is not part of the IDF ground forces. Instead, it operates under the Special Operations Division of Israeli Military Intelligence, Amman, and reports directly to the General Staff. Primarily, Sayeret Matkal functions as a field intelligence unit, conducting deep reconnaissance behind enemy lines to gather strategic intelligence. However, the unit is also tasked with a wide array of special operations, including black operations, combat search and rescue, counterterrorism, hostage rescue, human intelligence, irregular warfare, long-range penetration, manhunts, and reconnaissance missions far beyond Israel's borders. Modeled after the British Army's Special Air Service, SAS, Sayeret Matkal adopted the SAS motto, "Who dares wins," and is often regarded as Israel's equivalent of the SAS. The unit was founded in 1957 by its first commander, Avraham Arnon, and was initially composed of veterans from the Palmach, Intelligence Corps, Unit 101, and the Paratroopers Brigade, as well as young recruits from kibbutzim. Much of the unit's activities and capabilities remain highly classified, and its very existence was kept secret until the 1980s. In the early years, the unit handpicked its fighters and commanders based on personal connections and recommendations. Since the 1970s, while still secretive, Sayeret Matkal has opened its ranks to volunteers. Twice a year, it holds a notoriously challenging selection process, Gibbush, lasting several days with little sleep. Recruits are continuously monitored by doctors and psychologists, and only those who pass are admitted into the unit. In the 1990s, this selection process became a model for other IDF Special Forces units. Sayeret Matkal's training regimen is rigorous and consists of 4 months of basic infantry training at the Paratroopers Basic Training Base, alongside regular paratroopers, 2 months of advanced infantry training within the unit, 3 weeks of parachuting training at the IDF Parachuting School, 5 weeks of counterterrorism (CT) training at the IDF Counterterror Warfare School, followed by additional CT training within the unit. Extensive training in long-range reconnaissance patrols, with a particular emphasis on navigation and orienteering. While most orienteering exercises in the IDF are done in pairs for safety, Sayeret Matkal is one of the few units that conducts long-range solo navigation exercises. Toward the end of their training, recruits, along with candidates from other Special Forces units and pilot trainees, participate in a 2-week course on enduring captivity. After a surprise mock kidnapping, they are subjected to harsh interrogation, threats, physical violence, and demeaning tasks in prison-like conditions. Today, all soldiers in Sayeret Matkal complete an officer's course at the end of their training, allowing them to take on leadership roles within the unit or other IDF branches. Combat soldiers must sign on for an additional 36 months beyond their mandatory service, and many begin undergraduate university studies toward the end of their service. Although Sayeret Matkal has its own insignia, it is one of only 2 IDF units, along with Duvdevan, whose members are prohibited from wearing it in public due to the unit's classified nature. This absence of insignia often paradoxically reveals the identity of Sayeret Matkal operators, as their lack of any distinguishing mark is widely recognized. Now that we've covered the IDF and its military special units, it's important to note that Israel's special operations capabilities extend beyond the military. Though the IDF plays a major role in Israel's special operations, there are other branches contributing significantly to the nation's security. The Ministry of National Security, formerly known as the Ministry of Internal Security and the Ministry of Public Security, is Israel's statewide law enforcement agency. It oversees several organizations, including the Israel Prison Service, the Israel Police, the Israel National Fire and Rescue Services, the Israel Border Police, and more. Let's start with the Israel Prison Service, IPS. As its name suggests, the IPS manages Israel's prisons, but what sets it apart from other prison agencies around the world is the presence of specialized tactical units within its ranks. The Mitzada unit is the IPS's tactical response team, responsible for capturing escaped prisoners, conducting hostage rescues, supporting other IPS units during prison raids, managing prison riots, and providing VIP protection. Mitzada is one of 5 hostage rescue units in Israel, and since 2006 has also operated under the IDF General Staff for missions approved by the IPS Commissioner. The unit is known for its expertise in non-lethal weapons, and its instructors provide consulting and assistance to Israel's defense community. The Nachshon unit is the IPS's primary intervention and transport unit. It handles inmate transfers, suppressing disturbances, protecting IPS personnel, and conducting searches. Yamar Dror, founded in 1993, is the IPS unit focused on combating narcotics within Israel's prisons. Its operations include specialized searches and interrogations. Moving on to the Israel Police, this is the country's civilian law enforcement force, handling typical duties like fighting crime, traffic control, and maintaining public safety. Several operational units fall under the Israel Police, including the National Traffic Police, the Yassam Riot Police for crowd control, and the Bomb Disposal Unit. Additionally, there's Lahav 433, the so-called Israeli FBI. Lahav 433 is an umbrella organization that merges 5 law enforcement offices. The number 4 represents the 4 regional departments, and the number 33 honors the Gideonites, an undercover Mista-Arvim unit. However, the primary combat unit of the Israel Police, which we'll focus on, is the Israel Border Police, also known as Magav. Founded in 1949, Magav serves as Israel's gendarmerie and border security force. While its main mission is border security, the Border Police also assist the IDF and conduct counterterrorism and law enforcement operations. The Israel Border Police has 4 special operations units. Yamam, also known as the National Counterterrorism Unit, is Israel's premier counterterrorism force. Yamam specializes in hostage rescues, offensive raids against terrorist targets, and tactical police work. Its recruits are veterans from IDF combat units or special forces, or from the Border Police's Mista-Arvim units. On October 7, 2023, Yamam was the first unit to respond during the major incident, highlighting its crucial role in Israel's defense. Yamam's training course lasts 7 months, covering everything from counterterrorism to urban combat and specialized weapons use. Samag is a tactical unit focused on counter-crime and rapid response to terrorism under the Border Police. Matalan is the intelligence gathering and infiltration interception unit, tasked with gathering intelligence and preventing infiltrations. Yamas is a tactical unit that specializes in covert operations, counterterrorism, and high-risk arrests. Known for its undercover work, Yamas operatives often disguise themselves as Arabs to conduct missions in hostile areas. The unit operates directly under Israel's internal security agency, Shin Bet. The Israel Security Agency, better known by its acronyms Shabak or Shin Bet, serves as Israel's internal security service. Its primary responsibilities include safeguarding state security and providing intelligence for counterterrorism operations within Israel's territory. Though it is a security agency, it is not part of the Israeli Ministry of Defense. Instead, the head of Shin Bet answers directly to the Prime Minister. It stands as one of the three main pillars of the Israeli intelligence community, alongside military intelligence, Amman and Mossad. The Institute for Intelligence and Special Operations, more commonly known as Mossad, is Israel's foreign intelligence agency. It handles intelligence collection, covert operations, and counter-terrorism abroad, making it one of the most renowned foreign intelligence services in the world. Mossad, along with Amman and Shin Bet, forms the core of Israel's intelligence community. The director of Mossad reports directly and exclusively to the Prime Minister. The organizational structure of Mossad remains officially classified, but several divisions have come to light, each with its own specialized functions, and all led by a director with the equivalent rank of Major General in the Israel Defense Forces. Somet is Mossad's largest division. It is staffed with case officers, or katsas, who conduct espionage abroad and manage agents. These officers operate under a variety of covers, from diplomatic to unofficial roles, making their activities both diverse and highly secretive. Keshet, meaning rainbow, is the unit specializing in electronic surveillance, break-ins, and wiretapping. This division focuses on gathering intelligence through advanced technological means. Caesarea is the division responsible for special operations and houses Kidon, Mossad's elite special operations group, best known for carrying out targeted assassinations and other high-stakes missions. There's also a shadowy unit called Metzada, allegedly tasked with sabotage and other forms of covert action. It's believed to operate small teams of combatants involved in highly classified missions, including assassinations and sabotage. And finally, Mossad's most feared and specialized unit, the Human Resources Department, because even the most elite spies tremble at the thought of paperwork. Just kidding. But let's be honest, no one enjoys HR. And that's a wrap. Before making this video, I honestly didn't realize what I was getting myself into. If I had to choose one word to describe Israeli special operations, it would be confusing. There are so many units. I ended up examining nearly the entire structure of the IDF to put this together. And on top of that, there were units that were recently disbanded. Even with limited information available, I found a lot of specialized units designed for specific tasks. But that's just my take. Before this, my knowledge of Israeli defense was pretty limited. So what do you think? If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.